Let's get started. We'll need to start by drawing our head, and we'll want to make sure we leave enough room at the top for our hair and at the bottom for our neck, shoulders, and clothes. I will start just above the middle of my paper and create a large oval shape. I usually like to draw on one side and then reflect that line over to the other side. That helps me to create symmetry in my artwork. Remember to draw lightly so you can erase later if you need to adjust. Now, I'm going to find the middle of my oval for my head, and I'm going to lightly draw a line down the center vertically. I'm also going to draw a line straight across horizontally, but a little bit above the center because this will help me decide on where to place my eyes and my nose. Next, let's talk about drawing your eyes. You can draw them in a variety of ways. Check out some of the ways I'll draw them here. Is there another way you could draw them? Once you've decided on your style, draw both of your eyes just above your horizontal line across your face. Let's move on to our nose now. Again, we can draw these in a variety of ways. These are some of my favorite ways. You can see that some are front-facing, some have a side view, some are just the nostrils, while others are the bridge of the nose too. How will you draw yours? Draw it right above where your horizontal and vertical lines intersect, which means cross over, in the middle of your paper. It's time for our mouth! Will you draw yours as a closed smile? Maybe show your teeth and even tongue? Lips are just a curve. What about making it look like you're yelling? Draw your mouth in the space between your nose and your chin. I'm drawing a closed smile on mine, and I will add small half circles on the edges to show a cheek line. Let's go back up to our horizontal line. On either side of our face, we need ears. We can draw them right along that line. How will you draw your ears? Well, here are some examples you could try. Whoops, I forgot to fill in my eyes. I'm going to draw an eyelid in my eyes by just creating a curve that goes slightly below the top of my eye. It's going to follow the same direction. Now I can draw a circle that touches the top and bottom, and I can draw two smaller circles inside of that to make my pupil and iris. I can even add eyelashes by doing vertical lines around the top and bottom of my eye. We need some eyebrows here. Eyebrows can be a variety of shapes: big, small, thick, thin. You can even make one more expressive than the other. How do you want your eyebrows to help show your expression with your mouth? Happy, confused, excited, inquisitive? As you begin to draw your eyebrows, go ahead and make sure that they line up with the inside of your eye. Now is a good time to add on any extra details to your face that we may not have covered. For instance, I wear glasses, so I need to add those in. But if you don't wear them, you don't need to draw them. What else could you include on your face? Before we move on to next details, take a look at your drawing. Are there any areas you'd like to fix? Go ahead and do that now. For instance, I'm going to adjust the sides of my face where I have all these little sketch lines. Now, let's draw two vertical lines down from either side of our chin. That's our neck. I'll need to also curve out on both sides to create my shoulders. Next up, hair. Is your hair wavy, straight, curly? Tall with volume? Short? Long? Show me. I'm going to draw the outer shape first of my hair. I actually have a lot of hair, so mine might go longer than yours. But maybe you want to show your hair in a certain hairstyle too? Go for it. I'm also going to draw bangs, but if you don't have them, once again, no need to draw them too. Remember, we're drawing your self-portrait. Let's come back down to our necks and add a neckline simply by doing a half circle. We can always put some detail into our clothes. For instance, I'm going to draw overalls because that's my favorite article of clothing. Maybe you want to show yourself in your favorite shirt. You could even add a pattern like floral or shapes. I think I'm going to do stripes. Now, before we move on to details, let's talk about erasing overlapping areas. Take a look through your portrait. Do you have any areas where you can erase lines you don't need? For instance, see how my bangs and eyebrows overlap? I'll erase the part of my eyebrows since my bangs cover those. Same for where my head and my hair overlap. I don't need to see that line, so I'll erase it so that they blend better together. Back to the details. Maybe I want to draw in some lines into my hair to show direction or movement. I'll use a wavy line since I like to curl my hair. Are you ready for the fun part? Let's begin adding our animal elements. You are required to add in an animal symbol into your portrait. Now, you can include your animal however you would like. Just like Frida Kahlo, I want to show an animal wrapped around my shoulders like how she did with her pet monkey. Yes, I said pet monkey. So cool, right? But you could show it behind you, in front of you, or even as an element within your nature environment. I'm going to add a black cat around me, partly because I have a black cat that I love so much, but also because, did you know that while black cats are sometimes a symbol of superstition, they're actually really known to be a symbol of good luck? Love it! So I'll draw her face and paws on one side to look like she is overlapping on me. And then I'll draw her tail wrapped around to the other side. Nice. What's an animal that is special to you? What will you include in your portrait? Your second requirement is to add in an element of nature. This can be nature from your environment. For this part, I'm going to draw some elements of Florida's nature. Frida often liked to paint in her Mexican culture and environment. So since we live in Florida, let's think about some elements of Florida we could include. For instance, we have a lot of big palm trees that I could add in by drawing curved lines. And then inside of those curved lines, I can do horizontal lines to show my texture and dimension. I might also draw in some oranges. Not only are these symbols of Florida, but my parents used to have an orange tree in their backyard, and one of my favorite parts of growing up was being able to grab an orange from outside and eat it. What elements of nature or your environment have special meaning to you? Maybe you can draw that in to show me. Here are some questions to consider to help you decide. Is there a type of tree you have in your backyard or your neighborhood? What's your favorite type of flower to see? Have you ever helped a plant to grow? What kind was it? Have you ever lived somewhere with different elements of nature, such as mountains or maybe even the desert? Last year, a student of mine drew Japanese cherry blossom trees because she recently visited Japan and was so fond of that environment. So observe your environment, or one you really enjoy, and the types of nature that are specific to it. Make sure to fill all edges and corners around your portrait with your nature and animal symbols. Remember that as you draw these elements in your background, you want to make sure to not draw on top of your portrait. Your portrait needs to be in the front of your background elements. Take a look over your portrait once again. Are there any areas you see some overlapping areas you could correct? Or maybe some areas where you should better define your lines? Go ahead and take the time to do that right now.
Nicely done, artists! That is our last step for today. Go ahead and place this in a safe place so you can grab it next week when we do our outlining and color together.